Morning, Steve Freed in Chicago with the morning grain comments. Hope everybody had a safe and prosperous weekend. As far as the markets are concerned, a mixed trade overnight. You've got beans down a little bit, corn and wheat up a little bit. The corn market actually is taking out the January highs, and from a technical perspective, that's a pretty important technical signal. You could see some more short covering by the funds that are short. And we could maybe test those November highs, which is around 450 on the March. As far as the news over the weekend, number one, I think that we saw good weekly export sales last week in corn, and I think that we're seeing this thought process that maybe the U.S. corn export demand is higher because of what's going on in Argentina and some of the unrest in Ukraine, and that may lower the carryout a little bit. Does the market think that corn is bullish? No, it looks like it needs to find a new trading range a little bit higher than where we are. On the beans, last week we saw a pretty steep drop in the U.S. export basis, and I think part of that has to do with the fact that Brazil is looking like it's going to start shipping beans, and that their weather down there, while turning drier, could stress a little bit of the late planted crops. It should help their loadings and help their exports, and that raises the thought process that maybe China will switch more beans to South America from the U.S. and kind of help our carryout a little bit. So the bean market has backed off a little bit. Still, anytime that we need to buy beans domestically for the crush, we might have to bounce the market up from these prices. So kind of a new trading range in old crop beans. The domestic demand for meal continues to be strong. From a weather standpoint, Argentina's wet, Brazil's dry. As far as U.S. is concerned, we've got some cold weather this week and one storm midweek that'll hit the plains and the U.S. Midwest. And then later on in February, it looks like maybe we might see a little bit milder temperatures, and we might see a little less snowy type activity, which could help the livestock market and could help the grain movement. We have a little bit of change in the weather pattern, and that's the jet stream in the south will be more active, and so we could see more rain and possibly flooding in the southern part of the United States. As far as the next report, USDA, February 10th, again, they could show a little bit lower corn carryout, a little bit lower bean carryout, and wheat carryout unchanged. Globally, not a lot of changes. And then February 21st is the big day when USDA has their annual Outlook Conference, in which they give us their first estimates for U.S. 2014 and 15 corn, soybean, and wheat supply and demand. As always, these are my thoughts, not those of ADM and ADM Investor Services, and have a safe and profitable trading day.
That's his favorite place. She was at the football game last night. 25 UVA. I know. I've been short.